should be up on the website eventually. In the meantime, we have it on CD and DVD. Let me pop one of these. This is not anabolic steroids, so in case you're worried. Then I'm done. Doc, I'm back on Tums because I ran out of nectar. You know the nectar pills? Or apricot? Whatever. I'm back on Tums. Just one. Just to get me through the service. Yaakov 4:4. You adulterers and adulteresses, pardon me, I'd be talking to me, Yahweh. I mean, who are you talking to? This epistle is written to believers, is it not? It is. You adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that chavurah, friendship with worldly things, is enmity with Yahweh? Do you think that the Katuv says in vain, the Ruach that dwells in us is being provoked to envy? But he gives more favor, therefore he said, Yahweh resists the proud, but gives favor to the humble. Let's read that again. He gives more favor, stop. He gives favor beyond salvation. He gives more favor. Really? Yeah. Because it is therefore, that word is there because it is therefore, Yahweh resists the proud, gives favor to the humble. So lack of favor can show that you are walking and behaving too close to the world. Write it down. You never remember that. Lack of favor can show that you're walking and behaving too close to the world. Contrawise, favor shows you are walking and behaving unlike the world. So if you have favor in your life, it may be because you are living and you are acting kadosh.
Amen. Amen. I know that's right. Yeah. Amen.
You're so quiet on me today. I almost feel like I've done something wrong.
We have done wrong.
Right. Hallelujah.
See how I get one on Tum? I'm on a Tum high right now. So, when Yahweh gives us extra favor, it may be, notice, more favor. It may be because we're not acting in an adulterous way, and we've broken friendship with the world, because friendship with the world and worldly things, people, and places is enmity. It makes you an enemy of Yahweh. I've been saved. I haven't been saved to be an enemy of Yahweh. I've been saved to be a chaver, a friend of Yahweh. You don't need to be an enemy of Yahweh. You've been saved to be a chaver of Yahweh. Amen? Amen. I said amen?
Amen.
So we don't need to come. The trick is not to see how many movies we can watch that the world does. The trick is not to see how many nightclubs or how much drink we can drink and still maintain our testimony and still maintain our salvation and still maintain a good witness for Yeshua. The trick is to see how far you could put your Converse or your Nikes on and run from the world so nobody mistakes you as an adulterer or an adulteress like the world is an adulterers and adulteresses before Yahweh. The trick is to see how far you can get from the world, not how far you can be to the world. And so notice, if we lack favor in our lives, it may be because we are walking and behaving too close to the world, or lack of favor may make maybe because we have a prideful condition, a prideful spirit. Now let me tell you, pride is a very, very tricky thing. A very tricky thing. Because most people that can pinpoint pride have it themselves.
Interesting. Say that again. Very interesting.
If you can pinpoint pride all the time in other people, you probably have it yourself.
Mercy, Jesus.
Because you know what it is. On the other hand, pride, people that appear to be proud, really, in their heart of hearts, behind closed doors, have a contrite and a broken spirit, which Yahweh will not despise. Because in their heart of hearts, they are broken before Yahweh, they are pliable, they are usable before Yahweh. But to us, they look arrogant, they look prideful. See, pride is so deceptive that the one being deceived by pride can't pick up on it, and the ones who try to discern it wind up being deceived. Pride is a tricky thing.
Yes.
Because some of the quietest people that are the most introverted, they wouldn't harm a fly. They're afraid to comb their hair in the morning lest they offend their locks. They're humble. They don't speak much. They don't raise their voices. They're not troublemakers. But see, pride is a condition of the heart, and the problem with you and I is we don't read human hearts. The human heart, Yirmiyahu 17, is desperately wicked and deceitful. Who can know it? Not you or I. You can't know your own heart. Neither can your brother or sister know your heart.
Amen.
Man looketh at the outside, Yahweh looketh at the heart.
Amen.
So if we're walking like the world, trust me, you will soon lack favor. You better run from the ways of the world. And can we include in the ways of the world the ways of religion?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The ways of religion are, unfortunately, sometimes the ways of the world.
Amen. Amen.
Father, bless me. Confessing our sins to a priest. Instead of being the priest, being a believer priest, and teaching Torah. Yahweh says if you're a priest, you'll teach Torah. You won't pray the rosary. What kind of a priest are we going to? A priest who's teaching Torah, or a preacher showing us how to rub beads together? I mean, our definitions are wrong, and so pride, the condition of pride, Yahweh says, if you've got a proud heart, here's the bad news, I will resist you. People always wonder how a certain individual can be so anointed, can be so favored, can be so lifted up, can be so honored by the King of Kings and the Melech HaMelachim, when they're so arrogant and prideful, because pride cannot be discerned. It's not easily discerned. It's easily deceptive. So the person or the people that we think are walking in pride, in their heart of hearts before Yahweh, they know they're nothing, they know they're a loser, and they know without Yahweh they can do nothing. But publicly, that's just the way they cover their tracks. They're sensitive. They may be overly sensitive. So if you're overly sensitive, and then, that kind of person that's overly sensitive, sometimes, he's got a little stank to his walk. They walk around like that. But see, Yahweh knows their heart. They do that to cover up their insecurities and their sensitivities. Just as an example. So, pride is very deceitful because those who have it don't think they do. Those who can discern it in others probably have it. And those sometimes who don't act proud are proud. And those sometimes who do act proud actually are not pride. Don't try to discern pride. Because only Yahweh can discern pride. Because you can't even discern it in your own heart. But Yahweh gives you a warning. Yahweh gives us a warning. If you come to if you come to the realization that you have a proud spirit, Yahweh will resist you until He can give you favor. And in order to give you more favor, He has to humble you. And there have been many times in my life I've acted arrogantly and proud, and same with you. You've acted arrogantly and proud many times in your life, and Yahweh has had to humble you. Yahweh's had to take things away from you. Yahweh's had to correct you. Yahweh's had to work with you. Now, He doesn't give up on you. He molds you. Ezekiel 18, He says He sees the clay that's marred, and He goes down and puts you on the potter's wheel in the potter's house, and He makes that same vessel another. That same clay, though it's marred, though it's cracked, He keeps working with that clay and keeps making it until it makes it as a vessel pleasing to the Master's use. That's the good news.
That's the good news.
Yahweh doesn't trade in the clay. He keeps working with the same clay. That's you and me.
Amen. Amen.
That's the good news. The bad news is I want to resist pride because I don't want Yahweh resisting me, and I want more favor because Yahweh gives favor to the humble. Problem is, I can't get a good read on whether I'm proud or not because I'm too busy being proud. So if I'm too busy being proud and you're too busy being proud, how can you get a read on it? Being prideful takes a lot of energy and you can't get a read on it. That's the problem. And every once in a while, Yahweh will send us a Nehemiah or an Ezra to say, hey, you're acting arrogant. I had one lady in this congregation who's still here. Can you imagine that? She's still here. I haven't kicked her out. She told me I was proud and arrogant. another brother leave and told me I was pride and arrogant. So I'm beginning to get the message. I said, Yahweh, okay, now if this is true, I can't get a grasp on it. Show me those areas. But don't look that holy, because that's the way pride is. When you've got it, you can't sometimes see it. So how do we get rid of pride? Yahweh, you're full of unmerited favor. Can I have some of that favor so I don't walk around proud and arrogant before you? Can I have some of that favor to show me when I'm arrogant and when I'm not? That's favor. I said that's favor.
Amen.
So lack of favor may be due to a prideful condition. An abundance of favor may be because you are a humble and contrite person. Ivrim 10:29. Divine favor, do I have it? I'm giving you some ways you can tell if you have it or if you walk in divine favor. Ivrim 10:29. We're going to finish this message today. Even if the Verrazano Narrows Bridge collapses, we're still going to finish it today. Because I've got the Moadim coming up, and I want to get deeper with you on the Moadim, during the Moadim. Todah Rabbi Yahweh. You should be writing some of these things down. Of how much worse punishment. By the way, that lending library, that DVD library, that video library is there for you. Take out as many teachings as you want. They're free. Catch up on all the meetings you've missed. Look at Edgar. Edgar goes every week and gets them by the dozen. He gets them by the dozen. 2 dozen at a time, 3 dozen at a time, listens to all of them and returns them. You've got everything there. Everything from the past 5 years is free. I don't charge you a nickel. Instead of running right to the Moed hole, run to the library and get fed. And get your spirit fed. Amen?
Amen.
Verse 29. Of how much sorer punishment do you think he will deserve who has trampled underfoot the Son of Yahweh, and has counted the dam, the blood of the brit by which he was made kadosh, as a common thing, and has, noticed, has insulted the ruach of favor. So, if a person has insulted the ruach of favor, that means that by definition they have trampled underfoot the Son of Yahweh. They've counted the blood of the brit by which they were made kadosh as a common thing. The love for Yeshua has grown cold. How much worse punishment will somebody whose love has gone cold, or who's rejected the Mashiach, who they once accepted, as a common thing, and they've insulted the ruach of favor? Have you insulted the ruach of favor? By insulting Yahweh, then favor will not come. Now, in context, what is this talking about? How can someone insult the ruach of favor? I'll tell you one way. Pressure. I don't have this in my notes. I have this in the Ruach HaKodesh. Pressure. The devil will use everybody he can to try to get you to compromise and to walk away from what you know is the truth.
Amen.
And usually that power, that temptation to compromise will come from your work, from your husband, from your wife, from your children. I don't care. Let me tell you, can we talk? Listen, if my children never attend another Shabbat service, guess what? As for me and my house, I'm going to serve Yahweh.
Amen.
I clothed them, I raised them, I fed them, I released them, and as for me and my house, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it because I went out of my way to bring those kids up righteously, and so should you. That's what that means. I will not insult the favor that is abode in my home by letting my wife, my children, or anyone else manipulate me and say, you look stupid, you look like a fool, you look Jewish, you're acting like a Jew. I don't care what they say and what kind of look they give me.
Amen.
You got to keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
You got to press forward to the mark, Philippians 3:14, of the high calling of Yahweh in Messiah Yeshua.
Amen. Amen.
Remember Lot's wife.
I'll be back.
That's a wife who pressured her husband, and she turned into a pillar of salt. The husband escaped, and she turned into, remember Lot's wife. Yahweh gets insulted. It says it right here. When Yahweh has shown you revelation, He showed you the two houses, He showed you to obey, He showed you to walk in Torah, He showed you to love the brother as best lies within you. He's shown you all the mighty things we learned in Deuteronomy 29:29. The secret things belong to Yahweh, but the things that are revealed belong to us and our children forever, that we may do the words of this Torah. When He's revealed all these things to you, and you don't walk in the revelation, you don't walk in the what He showed you, you're insulting Him.
Amen. Amen. You know you're right.
And that backsliding.
Amen.
Is the ultimate insult. He's talking here about backsliders. People say, oh, Rabbi, you're just too condemning. The word of Yahweh says that Yahweh is married to the backslider. Really? True. True. There's only one problem with backsliding. The more times you slide back, the tougher it is to slide back into the camp. Because the more times I slide back, the more tempting the world is, the less my faith is built up, the more confused I am, the more I'm listening to other voices, the more I'm listening to other people pressure me to do something other than what Yahweh has showed me to do. Not only am I insulting the Ruach of Chesed and favor, but I'm backsliding. When I don't go forward in the things of Yahweh, I am by definition backsliding. And I encourage backsliding. You know why? Because the more people backslide, the more they should come to the realization how difficult it is to live for Yahweh. And you can't take it for granted. Okay, I'll take a couple months off and come back. Some people never come back. Some people wake up dead and useless in the kingdom of Yahweh. If you can't say oh man, say oh my.
Amen.
So in contrast, this is talking about backsliders. So we can't say, look, we won't walk in the things Yahweh has showed us. We'll take the Kadosh Shabbat, the Kadosh Moadim, the blood of Yeshua, the blood of the Brit Hadashah. We'll trample it underfoot metaphorically, meaning it'll be like yesterday's food or popcorn. It'll fall to the floor. We won't hold it in our hand and treasure it. We won't hold it in our heart and treasure it. We'll let it just fall to the floor like yesterday's popcorn and treat it as something common and not something kadosh. And then Yahweh says, then if you do that, you insult the Ruach of favor. There's a lot of things I want to do, but I can't do them because I don't want to insult Yahweh.
Man.
You know, one of the reasons that I don't believe believers should have bumper stickers on their cars. You know why? Because you drive like the devil. That's why. And I'm going to ruin my testimony. If I had one of those I love Jesus bumper stickers, you know how many times I would have ruined my testimony? By cutting people off and acting like a fool when I get in the flesh. So I am bumperless. Pardon me, I have a bumper, I am stickerless. I don't want to blow my testimony. Thank goodness I have a bumper. Todah Rabah Yahweh. Ivrim 10:29. How do we insult the Ruach of favor? The Ruach that wants to pour favor. The Yahweh who's full of favor. He wants to channel it through the Ruach. He wants to bring it, but we insult Yahweh. And then favor doesn't come when we insult Yahweh, does it? I said, does it?
No.
Backsliding is a sure way to lose favor. Write it down.
Amen.
But Yahweh's married to the backslider. You can come back. I did a teaching on that. It's in the library. Sure, He'll take you back. Of course He'll take you. He loves you. He died for you. He's committed to you. He married you. Of course He'll take you back. The question is, will you have the strength to come back? It gets harder. The more you walk away, and the more times you walk away, there's no guarantee that that day may not come when you want to return, but your love for Yeshua has grown so cold and so callous, and the things of the world are so appealing that there may be a day that you don't want to return. Yahweh always wants you to return, but there may be a day you don't want to return.
Amen. Amen. Right.
And that's why we can't insult the spirit of favor.
Amen. Amen.
You can't insult it.
Amen.
In other words, Yahweh's chasing us down with favor, and sometime when we don't respond, we are insulting the spirit of favor, and that has repercussions. Trampling underfoot, the blood of the covenant, counting as a common thing, the blood of the covenant and all the things. And this is specifically talking to the Jewish people in Rav Shaul's day, who would praise Yeshua and live for Yeshua and go to the temple and do the sacrifices and trust in the animal sacrifices along with the blood of Yeshua. And Rav Shaul says, you're backsliding, you're double-minded. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. How come you're trusting in the blood of the sacrifices and of the brazen altar when you should be going outside the camp bearing his reproach, because we have no lasting city inside? This city in 30 years will be gone. Do you see these buildings, I say to you? There will not be one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Yeshua said. Don't fall in love with the temple or the altars of the temple, because there should not be one stone left upon another. And he's talking to the Jewish people who backslid, even in the day of Rav Shaul, trusting in something more than the revelation and the goodness and the favor of Yahweh.
Amen.
If you trust in Yahweh's favor, you'll be full of favor.
Amen. Amen.
And if we don't backslide away from it, I'm telling you,